this here. So I'm going to give you a slightly different take on this. Killing Christians with guillotines, Revelations 24, beheading Christians. This video proves the government is storing thousands of guillotines and plans using them to behead the Christians just like the people prophesied in Revelations 24. What makes you think that you guys are such a big force to be reckoned with, this Christian thing? I came from being a Lutheran. Okay? And my stance on this whole thing is completely different than yours. Because Jesus was speaking in a completely different context than the way that the Christian church has been spewing this shit out. What makes you think that you're so wonderful, that you're so gallant, that you're going to stand up against this evil, and you're the one that deserves to go to heaven when everybody else deserves to go to hell? Let's see. Let me ask you a question. When you go to church Sunday, because you're really holy, right? You go and you ask your pastor if he wrote a letter or made a phone call to ESPN to protest Bruce Jenner's transgender transformation into a woman, and that your church and all of its patrons were going to boycott anything and everything that had to do with it. Did you do that? Did you do that? Did you pick up your phone and call them? Did you send them an email or a text? Did you tweet to them? Did you think that whole thing is fucking disgusting and it's deceivious and disgusting? I bet you didn't, and I bet your church didn't, and I bet you none of the churches did. Maybe some backwoods one, but none of the big ones. And I'm pretty sure yours didn't either. So you're sitting there saying that everybody's going to go to hell and you're going to be targeted, yet you do nothing to be targeted. You sit there on your hands. Oh, it's prophecy. Did you ever stop to think that the book of Revelations, instead of being prophecy, is maybe a playbook? And maybe, like in the movie Scrooge, the Christmas Carol, where death finally takes him and shows him his end, and it shows that the grave is empty at the point that death shows it to him. It does show him going through the funeral, but it takes him to his headstone, and what does he say? He says, "Oh, Shadow, are these things that have come to pass, or things that might come to pass?" Did you ever stop to think that maybe that shit's written there so that you act on it to stop it from happening? Instead of just sitting there going, it's prophecy. You're letting it happen. You're no more of a target on this planet than anybody else because you sit there and do nothing. You don't protest anything. You just let it go. The Catholic Church, for years, homosexuality is evil. Now they've accepted it. But you don't protest. You don't protest anything, yet you're going to be singled out because you're the most holy of them all. And you have the only true Bible. Beheading. Beheading. Are you so sure that means that your head gets cut off? Or does it mean you're beheaded, as in B-E-E? You're a hive mind. And just because it says, for my name's sake, does not mean that it's because you're doing the right thing. It just says that's what you based it on, is for the name's sake. It doesn't say because you're so wonderful and you stood up against the masses and you've done all of these great, wonderful things that you're going to get your head cut off because it's the only way they can silence you. You're beheaded. You're part of the fucking problem. The whole world is part of the problem. You're doing nothing to be beheaded. Just because you call yourself a Christian doesn't make you worthy of being or having your head cut off. You're not even in that fucking same realm as the one that you imagine that means. You're beheaded. You're hive mind. How cornball are you fucking people that you think that you're so great that killing the Christians with guillotines? Maybe some atrocity will come that way, but it won't be because you stood up against the establishment and proved that you're loyal. It's cheaper than using bullets. It's also reminiscent of the French Revolution. Gee whiz, when did that happen? 1700s? And all of these Bibles, pretty much, there's the King James Version 1611. That shit was already going on then. But you're special, right? But you don't protest when the world worships The very thing that you're supposed to be standing up against, right? You're supposed to be standing up against this, what you would call the Antichrist, which is a woman. And they put her up on stage and they glorify her and tell her how courageous she is. A man dressing up like a woman, an androgynous fallen angel. Yet you do nothing. You write no letters. You don't voice your opinion. You don't tweet. You don't text. You don't stand on the corner. You just let it go by. But you're worthy. Oh, you're going to be the one that gets into heaven. The rest of us are going to hell because we don't read the King James Version and we don't walk around with our nose in the air. Don't you understand? You still have to do stuff. Your faith in Jesus Christ is well put. But, that doesn't mean you just get to sit there and let the world go by. If that was the case, Jesus was the Son of the Almighty. Look at all the shit he had to put himself through finally till he killed him. So you're going to put yourself on a better positioning than him. You get everything that he got, but you ain't got to do shit, right? You just got to go put on a suit and lay out some bread every fucking Sunday. And over there, they're pounding the fuck out of the Islamists who walk around a big black cube. The Jews wear a black cube on their head, and they've convinced you that you're associated with them. So how are you any fucking better than they are? But no, that's right. You're worthy. You're the ones that you got it all together. You and your fucking organized crime that you call religion. You're beheaded already because you're hive mind. Do you think anybody on this planet is going to be exempt from whatever it is that's supposed to come? Do you think that anybody's going to be exempt? Everybody's already under a tyrannistic regime. It will get harder for everybody. If they're beating up on the Islamics now and they go after the Christians later, or the Christian church, it's just one big organization downsizing another portion of itself. Your spirituality is what's important with the Father. Not all of this crazy crap you guys keep claiming. Maybe it's a playbook. Maybe the message that Jesus was trying to get across to you is these things don't have to come to pass. Maybe you can stand up and protest them and they'll stop. But no, that wouldn't be any fun, would it? Because that means you actually got to open your mouth and you have to deal with strangers that might call you a dickhead or a fuckface or tell you I hate you. Then you would be hated for his name's sake. But you just sit in your fucking house and let this shit roll by. Let me give you another example. American Idol. How many years has that shit been on and you ain't done shit to stop it? What's the first commandment? Ain't the first commandment? It's been so long since I've been in this Lutheran school crap. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. And yet you sit there and you let your kids watch American Idol. I'm not condemning people that claim to be Christians. I'm condemning the whole lot of you for sitting there and letting it happen. How many of you have really gone out there? Those that have, I applaud you. Those that haven't, go fuck yourself. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. Everybody believes in God, dumbass. Even the very people that have been condemned by him, they all believe in him. What do you think that's it? I believe in God. I believe in God. What are you doing to try and change things? You know, I tell you guys not to pick sides, but there comes a time when you have to do something. You know, it's like you're trying to walk the line on both sides by saying, I want all of the credit, but without any of the blame. It don't work like that. I'm fed up with this crap. That the Christians are getting picked on. Are you Christians getting beat up in the Middle East? I mean, maybe the idiots that are living there are, but that's because they live there. I mean, as a whole, is this nation getting beat up on? Financially, a little bit. But not religiously, you're not. Do you understand that the golden age of Saturn doesn't want any organized religion? Not just you. It doesn't want any unless it falls under the, do what thou wilt, everything is okay. And then we'll see if it gets to that point, how many of you fuckers actually stand up and say, I'm not going to get involved. You're already beheaded because you're fucking hive mind and you refuse to look outside of this fucking parameter that's what you consider that you're so holy and you're the only ones that are worthy. You know, if you read it, you know, people that never heard of Jesus, how do they get judged? Well, they get judged by the intent of their heart. But yet they never believed in Jesus because they never heard of him, or little babies. Yet they still are given the same courtesy that you consider yourself as a Christian to get. Yet they never went around and got beheaded. This bullshit psyops crap, control of the fucking masses has got to cease. But you won't let it cease because you're part of the fucking problem. My Bible's the only true Bible. Well, what was true before that? And what was true before that? And what was true before that? You can't answer that because you never looked. And the Catholics are evil. What was evil before that? And what was evil before that? And what was evil before that? You don't know because you never looked. Stupid, silly bullshit. Now you know why I got out of that way of thinking. So I'm not beheaded. Jesus is the Son of the Father. But it isn't this crap that you're reading.